Isaac Pitbull Cruz might not look like your typical superstar, but that's exactly why people underestimate him. Shorter, relentless, built like a tank, and always moving forward, he's one of the most dangerous pressure fighters in boxing today. He doesn't need flashy talk or perfect style. His power and heart do all the speaking. And time after time, fighters who mocked his size or doubted his presence paid the price. Because in this sport, being too cocky doesn't just backfire, it can end your night fast. If you enjoy real fight stories like this, I genuinely appreciate your support. Drop a follow and be part of the journey.
I think that you did take more punches than you thought you would, so what went wrong during this fight?
Rolando Romero built his name differently. No elite amateur pedigree, no refined style. What he did have was explosive, chaotic power and constant trash talk.
There ain't no way that a motherfucker that this tall can even get close to me.
He rose quickly with knockouts, selling fights with his voice more than his record. Romero talked himself into a pay-per-view clash with Gervonta Davis, making bold promises.
You guys gonna see the summer film? I'm gonna knock this dwarf the f out. That's how it is. You hear that? I'm gonna knock you the f out. You a stupid dwarf, man. I'm telling you, man. Hey, mister, your head is so f***ing big, like this f***ing big. Your little T-Rex arms, man. My dick's longer than your f***ing arms.
It seemed that, seems kind of awkward. But in this fight,
But when the fight began, everything changed. One precise left hand from Davis ended the night decisively, silencing all the noise in brutal fashion. Fun fact, Gervonta Davis has one of the highest knockout ratios among active world champions. Romero kept moving forward after that loss. He stepped up to super lightweight and faced 40-year-old Ismael Barroso for the vacant WBA title. In the third round, Romero got dropped hard, and it looked like things might fall apart again. But he dug deep, fought through the pressure, and clawed his way back into the fight. Eventually, he secured a knockout victory, though it came with heavy controversy. Fun fact, the stoppage in this fight was widely debated, with many fans believing Barroso was still able to continue.
Chihuahua, poodle, he kind of looks like a pug right now.
Cruz entered the fight the way he always does, but this time with even more intensity. Every punch carried bad intentions from the opening second. There was no feeling out round, no patience, just non-stop aggression. Cruz came forward throwing heavy shots, hunting for the knockout immediately. Romero barely made it through the first round, already under serious pressure. In the second, it only got worse. Cruz kept marching forward, ignoring the jab and unleashing powerful swings. There was no room to breathe, just constant pressure breaking Romero down piece by piece as the fight slipped further out of his control. Fun fact, Isaac Cruz is known for his relentless pressure style, often compared to classic Mexican fighters. By round 7, Romero was breaking again under the pressure. Cruz landed clean, and Romero's legs gave out, stumbling across the ring like he was on skates. After taking continuous punishment, everyone watching could sense the finish was near. The damage had piled up too much to ignore. Then Cruz stepped in and closed the fight in brutal fashion, leaving no doubt. Fun fact, this victory earned Cruz the WBA Super Lightweight World title. It was a dominant and punishing ending that made a clear statement to everyone in the arena.
I've never seen Diego on this much fuego before. That's why I'm here today. That's why I'm here, because I believe in myself more than anybody. I don't care what anybody thinks of me.
Diego Magdaleno stepped in with real fire, fully aware This was his last chance to stay relevant against the rising force of Isaac Pitbull Cruz. He came motivated, knowing everything was on the line.
Stay focused. Stay with the game plan. Be smart. That's the only thing I could do in there. Be smart.
But once the fight began, it quickly became clear that all the fire belonged to Cruz that night. From the opening moments, Cruz took control, overwhelming Magdaleno and shutting down any hope of a comeback.
Cruz throws 68 punches. Look what he did already. Definitely not in Cruz control.
The intensity and pressure were simply too much, and Magdaleno couldn't keep up with the pace Cruz imposed. Fun fact, Magdaleno is a former world title challenger who faced multiple elite fighters before this bout.
What do you make of this guy, Isaac Cruz, and his aggressiveness and the way that he fights and the skills that he has?
Bueno, creo que es una buena oportunidad y un buen boxeador que me puede dar el voto a en qué condiciones me encuentro realmente en estos momentos.
40-year-old Yuriorkis Gamboa came into the fight knowing he desperately needed a win, understanding this might be his final chance to compete at the top level. But across from him stood Cruz, bringing relentless pressure and a clear intention to end it. From the start, Cruz controlled the pace and imposed his aggression. Fun fact, Gamboa is a former Olympic gold medalist who turned pro with huge expectations. Then, in the fifth round, he finally finished Gamboa with a brutal sequence, putting him down decisively. It was a tough ending that effectively marked the close of Gamboa's time at the highest level of the sport.
After fighting Pitbull, of course, he's a smaller fighter, even though he's naturally bigger. Is it easier for you to fight smaller or having no taller opponents in the ring?
Va a sonar como un poco arrogante, pero no sé, me da igual. Grande, chico, a final de cuentas es una pelea y tienes que adaptar a como sea.
Eduardo Ramirez believed the height difference wouldn't be an issue for him, confident he could handle whatever came his way. But he was about to realize it would become his biggest problem. Once the fight started, Cruz quickly found his timing and distance, closing the gap with ease. The physical advantage didn't matter when the punches began to land clean. This one ended the hard way, as Cruz's power made the difference. When the lights went out, the size advantage meant nothing against the pressure he brought inside. Fun fact, Ramirez is nicknamed Zurdito, referring to his left-handed southpaw stance.
Pitbull's a very good fighter. He's strong, he's aggressive, and he did good in the lower weight classes, but I'm too big and I'm too strong and I'm too smart for Pitbull. Like, I'm not buying any of the hype.
Giovanni Cabrera entered undefeated and full of belief, taller and seen as a tougher challenge on paper. He even said he would break down Pitbull Cruz.
A un perro con hambre que se va a comer a Giovanni Cabrera.
Yo también tengo hambre y vamos a comer taco de perrito.
He even said he would break down Pitbull Cruz. But early on, Cabrera kept circling, staying cautious whenever Cruz stepped forward. As Cruz applied pressure, Cabrera began to tighten up instead of letting his hands go. Then Cruz found his range, and once he did, the momentum shifted. Cabrera showed a strong chin and managed to endure. But round by round, Cruz kept landing while Cabrera retreated and slowed down. Fun fact, Cabrera is known for his disciplined boxing style and defensive movement. In the end, Cruz secured a clear and deserved victory. Angel Fierro wasn't intimidated by Pitbull Cruz and promised fans an exciting fight. To his credit, he delivered, stepping forward and meeting Cruz head-on from the start. The opening round was electric, setting the tone for a war. Both fighters pushed a relentless pace, exchanging sharp combinations and refusing to give ground. In the third round, Fierro landed a clean right hand that visibly hurt Cruz for the first time. But Cruz responded immediately, biting down and firing back. As the rounds passed, it became a full battle, both men trading heavy shots without backing off. Fun fact, this fight was widely praised by fans as one of the most entertaining bouts of the year. Fun fact, Cruz landed close to 50% of his power punches in this fight, an unusually high accuracy rate for such an aggressive style. Cruz was landing nearly half of his power punches, yet Fierro kept absorbing them and stayed competitive. In the later rounds, Fierro pushed back hard, refusing to fade and showing real toughness. It turned into a fight of the year contender, with the crowd on their feet reacting to every exchange. Both fighters gave everything, creating a memorable battle. When it was over, the decision went to Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Still, on that night, both men earned respect and proved their heart inside the ring.
Up the victory, but the classic Cruz sharing.
Respect every fighter, no matter how they look or speak. In boxing, underestimating the wrong person can change everything in seconds. Stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.